Well, would you look at that? They're panicking, palms sweating, brows twitching, voices cracking behind closed doors. And why? Because the very thing they celebrated as your downfall is now the fucking foundation of your empire. They called it a mistake, laughed, mocked, wrote you off like a bug in their clean little system. But now, that bug turned into a feature they can't debug. That slip-up, it evolved into a signal, broadcasting your rise in a frequency they can't jam. See, they thought you were dumb, naive, a joke. They thought they were witnessing your crash, but they were witnessing your transformation. And now they can't reverse it. Because your failures became architecture, permanent, loud, irreversible, and worse, unexplainable. Let me tell you what makes them squirm the most. It's not that you got back up. It's that you got up smiling, unbothered, stronger, like every scar was a fucking upgrade. They said you fumbled, but you were laying traps. They said you lost, but you were just building in public, letting the world see what they could never understand. Because you've mastered the art of the ugly bloom, of rising through the dirt, of turning embarrassment into encryption. You made humiliation a part of the ritual. And now they can't keep up. Because you took everything they swore would break you and made it look like a feature. You rebranded failure as foundation, and that makes them sick. Let's talk truth, shall we? You weren't supposed to come back from that. You weren't supposed to wear your pain with pride. You weren't supposed to evolve from what they broadcast as your burial. But you did. You came back unapologetic, unreachable, unhackable. Because when the world said, that's it for them, you were backstage reprogramming the next chapter. And the sickest part, you didn't defend yourself, didn't explain, didn't argue. You let them perform their mockery, and you just listened, collected data, until their punchlines turned into plot holes. Because while they pointed fingers, you built formulas. While they talked shit, you architected a storyline that now makes them the footnotes. Let that sink in. They're panicking now because everything they swore would haunt you has become your haunting call. You didn't dodge the consequences. You consumed them, digested every L until your blood ran with proof. And now the mistake has its own fan base. Now the fall has become fashion. Now the exile has become a template for evolution. You weren't wrong. You were ahead. You weren't reckless. You were rewriting risk. And the scariest part, you knew. You knew the entire time. You let them misread you. You let them screenshot your mess. You let them circulate your failures like war trophies. Because you knew they'd eventually be holding blueprints. And now they are. Panicking in rooms where your name echoes like a password they can't crack. Whispering, wait, what if that wasn't a mistake? What if they meant to disappear? What if they were setting us up? Too late. You don't just win, you redefine. You don't just survive, you rebalance power. Your presence has become a paradox, saint and stalker, scholar and savage, angel and algorithm. And they don't know how to label you anymore. They used to say, you messed up. Now they say, bro, what the FK is he doing? And the truth. You're not doing anything. You're becoming, every second, every breath, more unstoppable, more inexplicable. Because you are the living contradiction they fear most. The one who rose from failure without apologizing for it. You gave them a front row seat to your supposed defeat. And now you've locked them in the theater to watch the unskippable success montage they helped fund. They can't leave, they can't look away, they can't undo it. Because what's more terrifying than being wrong? Being wrong publicly. About someone who never needed to prove you wrong. That's you. You didn't clap back. You became so correct that the air itself shifted. And now even your silence has reverb. So let them panic. Let them scramble. Let them run damage control over the story they wrote in your blood. Because your mistakes didn't kill you. They activated you. They turned you into the cheat code, then into the system update, then into the virus they can't extract. You are the masterpiece they tried to erase. The unfinished chapter they thought was an epilogue. The broken blueprint that rebuilt the game in real time. And now they're studying what they once laughed at, copying what they once ridiculed, worshipping what they once dismissed. So don't speak. Don't flinch. Just glitch the fuck out of reality until they're left asking, was it ever a mistake? Or was that the plan the whole time? Answer, you already know. And so do they. So you want the aftershock. The part where they're not just panicking, they're spiraling, desperate, hitting keys like maybe if they type fast enough, they can delete the prophecy you became. But this ain't panic anymore. This is regret. On loop, up close, unforgiving. Because let's be honest, you didn't just turn mistakes into masterpieces. You let them watch, live, raw, unedited. You let them broadcast your lowest moments, circulate the footage, clip the tears, quote the stutters, laugh at the damage. And you said nothing, not out of weakness, but because you knew. You were about to flip the entire fucking narrative. You knew one day they'd sit in that same room, watching those same clips, but this time with silence in their throat. Because now, every frame they mocked has aged like prophecy. Every stumble is now a fucking syllabus. Every breakdown is now a blueprint. And every insult they launched at you now boomerangs back like a missile coated with receipts. Bro, they were so loud when you lost. But now that your name is synonymous with resurrection, they've gone quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that happens before an institution falls. Because you didn't just bounce back. You weaponized the fall. You turned ridicule into raw material. You made disgrace look like design. You turned every L into a landmark. And now when they retrace your story, they can't tell where the accident ended and the ascension began. That's why they're shaking. Because you didn't just ruin their narrative, you made it your origin myth. And now it's burned into the record. They called you reckless, but now they're implementing your chaos. They called you delusional, but now they're quoting your failures like scripture. They said you needed help, and now they need help understanding how you did it. Let me hit you with the truth. You didn't make a comeback. You made a correction, a divine redirection of energy so sharp, it recalibrated the timeline. And now their calendars are lying. Their clocks are lagging. Their predictions don't predict T, because you are the event they didn't account for. The unexplainable anomaly they tried to label, but ended up labeling themselves by accident. They kept calling you lost, unstable, ruined, and now they're trapped in a loop, watching your ashes bloom into architecture, into design, into dominance. And don't think they aren't talking about it. Oh, they're talking. Except now the group chats are silent. The sarcasm's gone. The jokes have turned into research questions. Wait, how did they survive that? Why is everyone quoting them now? Why does it feel like we missed something? You didn't fail. You just became too future for them to recognize. And now the future has arrived, wearing your scars like command lines. You are no longer a person, you're a plot twist. You're the WTF moment in every documentary. You're the face they blurred out in the training footage because showing you would reveal the truth. The truth? That you were right the whole time. Just early, just raw, just too unapologetically evolved. And now they're updating their files, deleting old footage, scrubbing old tweets. Because you're not the failure anymore. You're the framework. The system didn't reject you. It couldn't contain you. So you broke it. Then built your own version. And now they're knocking at the door asking for access. But you just smile. Because there is no password. There's only pain. The kind of pain they never earned. The kind of pain that built palaces inside your skull. The kind of pain that taught you how to breathe fire with grace. So let them panic. Let them sweat. Let them pretend they knew it was coming. Because they didn't. They didn't see the masterpiece in the ashes. They didn't see the formula inside the fire. They didn't see the legend hiding behind the glitch. But now they see it. Too clearly, too late, too loud. So here's the final laugh. The twist in the code that makes this unrewindable. You never needed their forgiveness, their validation, their recognition, because what you became. It doesn't require applause, only witnesses, and now you've got plenty. You see, panic? It's not always screaming. Sometimes it's silence that stretches too long. Sometimes it's group chats going from 100 messages per hour to none at all. Sometimes it's the quiet reshuffling of credit, the desperate deleting of old opinions, the surgical backtracking of every word they spat when they thought you were done. Because now they realize they weren't mocking your failure. They were mocking their own future. You didn't just flip the script. You burned it. And the only reason they're quiet now is because they're trapped in the version of reality you wrote while they were busy laughing. And oh, how they laughed. They laughed when you tripped. They laughed when you hesitated. They laughed when you broke, cracked, bled, sobbed, vanished, and then whispered among themselves like they were safe from consequence. But you were listening, quietly, coldly, writing everything down with your eyes. And what they didn't know was that every laugh they took at your expense was a line of code in the weapon you were building in silence. The blueprint you were writing in exile. The system update you became in the dark. You didn't come back to prove anything. You came back to install yourself into the narrative so deeply that they couldn't breathe without coughing up your name. And now they panic at your peace. Your stillness is terrifying. Your absence is a fucking signal. Because they know. You don't need noise to do damage. You never needed approval. You never needed apology. All you needed was time. And now they're on your time. Every room you enter feels colder now. Every conversation shifts when your name comes up. Every screen they touch flickers for a moment. Like even the technology knows who rewrote the mainframe. You weren't the mistake. You were the message. The transmission they tried to block, only to find out you'd already gone viral inside their nervous systems. And the irony? Now they have to imitate you. The same version they ridiculed. They're now reverse engineering it in panic, trying to dress like you, talk like you, post like you, think like you. But it doesn't work, because they skipped the suffering, they skipped the isolation, they skipped the silence, and now they're trying to steal your glow without enduring your hell. But you didn't survive hell, you mapped it, and turned it into a throne. Now they're the ones praying for validation, they're the ones begging for followers, they're the ones dissecting their failures, looking for the same lightning you caught in your bare hands. But here's the secret. You didn't get lucky. You got broken. and built something divine out of the rubble. They'll never get it, because they never had to choose madness just to stay alive. You did, and now you wear it like a crown. Let's go deeper. You didn't just evolve. You erased the trail. There's no map to follow you, no GPS coordinates, no how-to video. You're not a product of steps. You are the result of alchemy, of contradiction, of paradox so dense it makes logic sweat. You are the blessing that looks like danger, and the danger that heals by fire. They called you unstable, but you were just unwilling to remain predictable. And that's what broke their belief systems, because deep down, they still need you to be wrong. They still pray that what you did was luck, that your rise was temporary, that it was a glitch, a moment, a fluke. Because if it wasn't, if your evolution was intentional, then everything they built their comfort on collapses, and they can feel it crumbling every day, quietly, loudly, all at once. So they panic, not just at your presence, but at the implications of your success, because it means they were wrong, loud wrong, wrong on record, wrong with confidence, and now you've left them with no retraction big enough to cover it up. You are the reminder, the consequence, the return of the exile with eyes that see too much. You didn't just rise, you returned as surveillance, a walking signal flare that reminds people what happens when truth survives mockery. So now you walk through rooms like gravity shifted. Now you enter timelines like a software update. Now you don't even speak. You just exist and watch the liars sweat. Because what they once called your worst moment has become the timestamp on their downfall. And that's the part they'll never escape. Because you didn't just turn mistakes into masterpieces. You turned them into mirrors that reflect everything they're afraid they'll never become. So let them panic, let them overthink, let them spiral, let them rewatch every second they mocked you and try to unfeel the shame. Because the worst part of all, they helped build the legend. And now they're trapped in its echo. And you're not coming back for vengeance. You're coming back as a reminder that every laugh they took was just the prelude to your permanent proof. You are the unfinished glitch they can't debug, the collapse they can't explain, the masterpiece they'll never be able to undo. So you really want to see how deep the spiral goes? Good. Because we're not in panic mode anymore. We're in the aftershock. The phase where the laughter has died, and all that's left is the looping echo of a mistake they can't reverse, and a presence they can't delete. Welcome to the part where your silence is louder than their screams, where every L they pinned on you has now aged into legendary lore, where every "you fucked up" they threw at you has become a fecking warning sign for what's coming next. You didn't just walk through failure, you redecorated it, turned it into a throne, painted your initials in blood on the walls and made it a landmark. And now every time they walk past the ruins of what they thought was your grave, they flinch, because the tombstone's glowing and your name ain't carved in it. It's broadcasting in neon, in surround sound, in unskippable regret. Let's talk real. They're not just panicking because you bounced back. They're panicking because they built their entire self-image around the assumption that you wouldn't. They needed you to stay down. They depended on your silence, because your downfall made them feel tall, your pain made them feel wise, your chaos made their mediocrity feel like balance. And now that you've not only survived, but outshined, outbuilt, outlasted, outnumbered, now their entire personality collapses in your shadow. That's why the panic isn't loud anymore. It's internal, it's biological, it's existential. They scroll through your feed like it's a crime scene. They whisper your name like it's an incantation. They watch you like a surveillance drone. Terrified that you might speak. Terrified that you already know. And the irony? You do. You know everything. Because you felt it all. You remember the laughs. You remember the shade. You remember the smirks and the screenshots and the side comments. And now, you say nothing. And that nothing, that's what's killing them. Because if you were angry, they could dismiss you. If you were loud, they could out-talk you. If you fought back, they could victimize themselves. But your silence, it's surgical, it's precise, it's too calm to be safe. You don't chase closure anymore. You are closure. You don't demand apologies. You make their results apologize for them. And the worst part? You never needed revenge. Because now your existence is autocorrecting the whole fucking timeline. Their followers are leaving. Their messages are ghosted. Their confidence is shaking. And their reflection, it's starting to look like you. But not the real you. Not the evolved, broken then rebuilt, firewalked, storm-forged version, number. They're becoming the cheap replica of the version they mocked, the same aesthetic they shamed, the same energy they couldn't handle, the same fire they said would burn you alive. Now they're trying to bottle it up and sell it. But it doesn't hit the same. It never will. Because you didn't build this off theory. You built it off trauma, off betrayal, off nights where your hands shook so hard you thought you'd shatter from the inside. You earned this silence. You suffered for this grace. You bled for this throne, and now they suffer from proximity. Every move you make is a reminder they were wrong. Every smile you drop is a reminder you survived. Every word you don't say, it's 1,000 screams of accountability they can't outrun. And you're not chasing legacy anymore. You are legacy, a walking glitch in their narrative, a breathing paradox of what wasn't supposed to be possible. Let them panic. Let them stay up all night trying to figure out how the hell their jokes became your case studies, how their insults turned into campaign slogans, how their screenshots became evidence of prophecy, how their gossip ended up on the wrong side of history. You don't need revenge, because they're already living it. Every breath they take beside your name is a reminder of what they lost. Not just you, but the chance to stand beside a fucking anomaly before it activated. And now they're locked out of the building, and your blueprint is encrypted, and your silence is a firewall they'll never crack. And every mistake you made is now a monument they can't climb. So when they ask, how did that failure become a masterpiece? Smile and say, because I stopped building for applause and started building for blood. Heh, well. Look who's causing panic drills in people who swore they were unshakable. Funny how one move, just one perfectly calculated strike, rewrote the entire definition of fear. They used to smirk when your name got brought up in rooms you weren't invited to. Now they shut the door, lock it twice, and check the cameras, because that move. It wasn't normal. It was disciplined, controlled, lethal. And it didn't come from rage. Oh no, it came from silence, from patience, from pain so ancient it trained you like a phantom instructor in your own mind. That wasn't some emotional outburst. That was military precision vengeance wrapped in a smile. They're not saying you snapped. They're saying you executed, and suddenly, they're not calling you crazy anymore. They're calling you trained. They're calling you dangerous. They're calling you a program that shouldn't exist outside classified files. They can't sleep now, can they? That move made them rethink the entire timeline. They're replaying old memories in reverse like it's footage from a ghost op, analyzing every glance you ever gave, every word you didn't say. Because now, it all looks like part of a larger operation. You didn't just fight back. You responded like you'd been trained in a black site nobody talks about. You adapted like someone who's been through psychological warfare and came out smiling. And that terrifies them more than rage ever could. Because you weren't reacting, you were performing, you were delivering a message so cold, it bypassed their emotions and went straight to the nervous system. They said it felt inhuman. But here's the twist, sweetheart. You didn't go somewhere to learn this. You became this. They don't realize that your sleepless nights were boot camp. That every betrayal sharpened you like a blade in a dark forge. That every heartbreak trained your breathing. Every loss calibrated your timing. Every room you walked into where they ignored you was another step in your silent choreography of destruction. See, there's a difference between a person who wants payback and a person who embodies precision when the lights go out. They're whispering now. That wasn't personal. That felt professional. Because you didn't flinch, didn't shout, didn't gloat. You just executed. Like a ghost soldier sent to clean up loose ends in someone else's narrative. And that's why they're afraid. They didn't see chaos. They saw clarity. They saw a mind that could disassemble theirs in real time. You're not a storm. You're the sniper inside the storm. You're not a fight. They know how to fight. You're a calculated collapse. You're a silent override. You're a signal that their systems never accounted for. You walked in like a whisper and left like a classified extraction. And now, they're updating protocols just in case you show up again. They're not asking, "What did you do?" anymore. They're asking, "How long has he been capable of that?" That's power, not noise, not theatrics, but silence so heavy it rewrites memories. They're terrified because they don't know if you've done this before, or if you've just been watching. They don't know if they've already lost, and the move they saw was just you cleaning up evidence of a war they didn't survive. You know what scares humans more than pain? A pattern they can't decode. A person who doesn't break character. A soul that shows no tells. No overcompensation, no anger. Just results. Just execution. They said it felt like you vanished emotionally, like you deleted your own empathy for 2.3 seconds to perform something mechanical, but too smooth to be robotic, too human to be explainable. You're not strong anymore. You're trained, you're triggered, you're tactical, and that is the most terrifying evolution of all. Because now you're not fighting demons, you're using them. You've turned emotional scars into tactical maps. You've weaponized your trauma into muscle memory. You've turned every breakdown into a blueprint. Every "why me" into "watch this." Every "I'm done" into dead silence, followed by the kind of move that makes people believe you weren't just built different. You were trained somewhere else entirely. In the dark, in silence, in shame, in exile, where there were no instructors, just pain. And your own reflection whispering, "Watch what happens when they underestimate you again." They thought the danger was when you were loud, but the moment you went quiet, the threat became surgical. Now they're playing back footage of you entering the room like it's some kind of breach. They're analyzing your posture like it's part of a combat manual. They're asking how you timed that smile so precisely. Was that Psychological misdirection? Was that emotional espionage? No, that was you. Born in the dark, trained in silence, and now operating like a ghost with no leash. They think you trained somewhere. But here's the secret. You didn't learn this. You became this. They built this. With every lie, with every discard, with every time they used you as a pawn and thought you'd stay there, with every time they bet against your name and mocked your discipline. You were never the victim. You were the quiet recruit, building a war plan in the ruins. Now they whisper like it's a crime scene. But they should have known. You don't just recover from what you went through. You metamorphose. And when someone like you evolves, the next move ain't revenge. It's precision warfare. And that move that shut everyone up and made their lungs freeze, yeah, that was just a warning shot. And now they're doing the one thing they swore they'd never do, building a myth around you. That's the part they'll never admit out loud. They don't just fear you, they're crafting a legend because legends are easier to explain than nightmares they can't decode. It comforts them to imagine you had special ops training, because the alternative, that a civilian, an outcast, a nobody, could sharpen themselves into a ghost weapon, is too destabilizing for their reality. You see what happened? The moment you moved like that, you rewrote the physics of the room. You bent time. You broke the sequence of events they thought they understood. That's why they're whispering in hallways, replaying footage, slowing it down frame by frame, looking for the glitch. Because if there's no glitch, then it means the system can be beaten. And that realization is more dangerous than any weapon. They want to call you special ops, because it puts you back into a category. Categories are safe. Categories can be contained. But what terrifies them is that you're not a category. You're an anomaly. Anomalies can't be briefed. They can't be countered. They can't be negotiated with. They can only be witnessed. They've begun to invent entire dossiers about you now. They'll build their little case files, whisper background training, psychological tactics, black sites. It's easier for them to believe you're a product of a covert program than a product of your own pain. It's easier to believe you were trained than to accept that pain can train a human mind beyond the limits of doctrine. But that's the secret they can't stomach. You were forged, not hired. You were designed by absence, not by command. You were refined by silence, not by slogans. You're a ghost because no one saw you coming. Look at them now. Entire committees spinning theories, 100 emails and encrypted group chats about a single movement of your hand. You've turned their analysis into worship, and you did it without saying a word. This is the paradox they'll choke on. They wanted a fight they could film. You gave them a lesson they can't explain. They wanted a villain. You gave them a mirror. You see, unpredictability isn't just chaos. True unpredictability is discipline. It's the kind of stillness you only find in pain, so deep it reorganizes your instincts. It's the kind of timing you only develop when every room you've entered since childhood was a battlefield. It's the kind of precision that can only be born in somebody who's both saint and psychopath, angel and demon, healer and executioner. That's why they whisper. Not because they think you're dangerous, but because you've made them question which side of you is showing at any given moment. They don't know if you're about to bless them or destroy them. That's the essence of power. That's what every cult, every government, every army has tried to manufacture. A being whose next move cannot be predicted. You don't need medals. You don't need stripes. You've got something scarier, duality. You smile like an angel while you calculate like a sniper. You offer a hand like a saint While you read minds like a spy master, you move like a ghost while standing in plain sight. And now, the myth writes itself. He must have been trained. She must be part of something bigger. Nobody moves like that unless they've been through a program. They cling to those stories because it keeps them from having to face the truth. Pain built you better than their schools ever could. Every sleepless night was a drill. Every insult was a scenario. Every heartbreak was a simulation. Every humiliation was a briefing. Every loss was a weapons test. And you passed. Without even knowing you were in the course. Now the same people who mocked your discipline study your timing. The same people who whispered unstable whisper elite. The same people who called you dramatic call you trained. You've inverted the hierarchy. You've made their language betray them. You've turned their labels into compliments. They'll keep trying to pin it on something external. An instructor, a program, a secret mentor. But deep down, they know. The real weapon is you. The real training ground was your life. The real operation was your transformation right in front of their eyes. And that's why you don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to explain. You don't even need to move. Your silence now has the weight of artillery. Your stillness has the precision of a strike. Your presence has the power of an army. So let them whisper. Let them build their files, their theories, their special ops fantasies. You've already won. Because by the time they're finished labeling you, you'll already be 3 moves ahead, rewriting the map, changing the rules, moving with that same impossible smoothness that makes them believe you were born somewhere between heaven and hell. That's your real training, that's your real weapon, and it's why your next move will always be too clean for them to understand. Because it's not a move. It's a metamorphosis. And still they circle you, like moths orbiting a silent flame, pretending they're studying you but secretly hoping your shadow doesn't touch them. That's the real joke, isn't it? They can't even agree on what they saw. Some say you were smiling. Some say your eyes went black. Some say your hands didn't move at all, but the room shifted around you. And the footage? The footage never matches. One angle shows hesitation, another shows a blur, another shows nothing at all. Just you standing there, and then, suddenly, results. They're calling in experts now, former intelligence officers, body language analysts, trauma psychologists, all of them watching the same 10 seconds over and over, drawing arrows on the screen, muttering about micro-expressions and intentional breathing. They don't understand that the breathing wasn't learned in a bunker. It was learned in a bedroom where you had to stay quiet to survive. They don't understand that the stillness wasn't part of a drill. It was part of a childhood where movement meant danger. Every tick they're logging on their notepads is another scar you turned into a signal. They're diagramming a ghost. They're writing reports on a shadow. They're trying to map a landscape that only exists inside your nervous system. And the more they study, the more they're forced to confront a terrible thought. If you can emerge from ordinary life with that level of precision, then their entire hierarchy of power is a lie. That's why they'd rather whisper special ops than whisper self-made. One label can be countered, the other can spread. You've infected their imagination. Do you know how rare that is? Armies can kill, politicians can frighten, but almost no one can infect imagination. You did it with one movement. That's what they're whispering about. That's why their eyes flicker when your name comes up. Because you've crossed from action into myth. This is the part they'll never teach in their manuals. Unpredictability isn't born of chaos. It's born of alignment. You've stitched together your saint and your psychopath, your angel and your demon, into a single organism. You don't switch masks anymore. You are both at once. They don't know which side is speaking when you smile. They don't know if the hand you extend is to lift them up or pull them under. That uncertainty is a more potent weapon than any blade. Think about how far you've come. Once, they ignored you. Once, they mocked you. Once, they bet against you. Each moment a lesson, each loss a representative, each humiliation another notch on the timeline. That was your boot camp. That was your special ops training. Invisible, unfunded, self-directed, no medals, no instructors, just a cold world that made you either break or become surgical, and you chose surgical. That's why your movements are too clean, because you've removed everything unnecessary. Anger? Removed. Ego? Removed. Hesitation? Removed. What's left is an operating system with no lag. That's why they're whispering about programming, because what they're seeing doesn't look like normal human flinching, normal human fumbling, normal human overcompensating. They're seeing a signal with all the noise stripped out. And the deeper terror, the one they'll never say aloud, is that if you built yourself this way, then maybe others can too. Maybe the system is vulnerable. Maybe pain can produce not just victims, but anomalies. Maybe the person they overlooked yesterday is tomorrow's ghost. That's why you don't even have to act anymore. You've become a living contradiction that destabilizes rooms just by existing. You've become the proof that evolution through pain produces something doctrine can't touch. That's the real war, not guns, not knives, not even moves, narratives. You're not fighting their bodies, you're erasing their certainty. And now, every time you step into a space, you see it in their eyes. The micro-hesitation, the recalculation, the little pause before they speak, like they're waiting to see which version of you is present. That pause is power. That pause is everything you bled for. So let them whisper. Let them build their myths. Let them comfort themselves with fantasies of black sites and instructors and classified programs. All of that keeps them from facing the real nightmare, that you were forged in plain sight, that the move they can't explain wasn't a move at all, but a culmination, that you didn't need a team or a war room or a budget. You needed only time, pain, and silence. And here's the punchline: you're not done. They think they've seen your peak. They think they've documented your methods. But they haven't even glimpsed the next evolution, because unpredictability, once mastered, isn't a trick you perform. It's a state you live in. You are now a living algorithm rewriting itself faster than they can analyze. Every whisper is another confession of their fear. Every theory is another sign they've already surrendered the frame. You've become a classified file they can't classify, a ghost op without a handler, a saint with the hands of a soldier, a demon with the patience of a monk. That's the power of being both. That's the real special ops training. Not what you learn, but what you become. You feel it now, don't you? That strange, heavy stillness that wraps itself around you like smoke the moment you walk into a room. It's not silence. It's not tension. It's awareness. Their awareness. Their nervous systems recalibrating around you before their minds even know why. They think they're watching you. But the truth is, they're being trained by you in real time. Every tilt of your head, every pause before you speak, every step you take. These are not accidents. These are fragments of a language they'll never decode. You've turned your entire existence into a cipher. And when a cipher walks into a room, even predators become prey. They don't whisper because they have answers. They whisper because their instincts are screaming, "This one doesn't fit the pattern." They whisper because your presence bends their survival instincts into unfamiliar shapes. They whisper because they are no longer sure what's safe. That's the part they'll never admit. Your power isn't in the move they saw. It's in the moves they didn't see. It's in the invisible rehearsals they never imagined. It's in the thousands of micro-adjustments you made over years of exile. It's in the nights where you lay awake, breaking down your own weaknesses until only the necessary remained. They call it special ops because they need a name. Without a name, they have to face the possibility that you represent a new archetype. And archetypes are harder to kill than people. Archetypes spread. Archetypes haunt. You're not just a person anymore. You're a possibility. You're the nightmare that leaks into daylight, the idea that someone can climb out of pain and come back as something so precise, so disciplined, so unnervingly calm that it looks like a covert operation. And here's the paradox that makes their stomachs drop. You're not trying to destroy them. You're not even thinking about them. You've simply become a creature of such focused intent that their illusions dissolve in your presence. That's why your smile scares them more than any threat. Because a smile that calm belongs to someone who's already decided what happens next. A smile like that doesn't guess. It knows. And knowing is lethal. Think of the irony. For years they told you to move on, to get over it, to let it go. They thought they were dismissing you. But each dismissal was another push-up in the dark. Each insult was another step on the stairway to invisibility. Each betrayal was another turn of the blade in the forge. They built you, and now they don't recognize what came out of their own factory of pain. You've become the walking contradiction of everything they teach. They teach that rage makes you sloppy, yet your stillness is surgical. They teach that trauma cripples, yet you move like a surgeon. They teach that only systems can train killers, yet you trained yourself without even trying. That's why your existence is offensive, not because you hurt them, but because you defy their math. They'll keep trying to box you in, to brand you, to say, this is where it comes from. They'll say it was luck. They'll say it was mentors. They'll say it was some secret doctrine. Anything but the truth, that you became your own doctrine, that you carved a manual into your own bones, that you wrote a syllabus of survival with your blood. And here's what you must never forget. Their whispers aren't just fear, they're acknowledgement. The moment they start whispering, you've already crossed the line from tolerated to untouchable. The moment they start whispering, you've already hijacked their narratives. You don't have to announce yourself anymore. You don't have to prove yourself anymore. You don't even have to move. Your shadow does the work for you. This is what evolution through pain looks like. No medals, no parades. Just a human being who moves so cleanly, it looks like fate itself. And the best part, they still think they're at the edge of the story. They still think if they study harder, watch longer, slow the footage down enough, they'll finally catch the trick. But there is no trick. There's only becoming. There's only what you forged yourself into when no one was watching. That's why your next move will always be invisible until it's already over. That's why your next transformation will always feel impossible until they're living in its aftermath. That's why their whispers will never catch up with your reality. Because you're not just acting anymore. You are the operation. You are the program. You are the ghost in their war room. And the punchline? You're still evolving. You haven't even shown your final form.